Digging this giant hole in the ground is just one way I'm designing and building a resilient home for myself. Hey there, nature lovers. If you're new here, my name is Jackie and this is my eco endeavor. I bought property in 2021 on Vancouver Island, and I've been living in a trailer for the last few years, saving up money and designing my most eco-friendly, sustainable, self-sufficient home possible. And this is a key feature of it. This giant hole behind me is for a rainwater cistern. 2,800 gallon rainwater system. Now I do have a well on my property, but my well is very low producing, which is why I was able to afford this property. It only produces half a gallon of water a minute. I put in an 1,100 gallon cistern to start storing that water, but after my cistern ran dry last summer, I know it's not going to be enough for all of my potable and garden needs. I have a goal to be growing most of my own food on this property, even though, as you can see, I chose the most sandy, gravelly rock pit to be able to grow my own food on. But it's happening. You can watch this video here of how I'm turning this sandy gravel into nutrient-rich soil, but that's a different video. Today's video, we're talking about rainwater harvesting. I want to collect rainwater that I can use for my garden, as well as having the capability to use it for potable, like drinking use, if it comes to that point. All of these properties where I am all have very low producing wells, with the best well possibly at 5, maybe 8 gallons a minute, which again is not a lot. So all of my neighbors have put in cisterns for that water security. But I'm the only one that's really putting in the rainwater system that I can see so far, which I think is going to be beneficial in my part because I do have big garden goals. I don't want to be reliant on my neighbor's conservation use of their water to ensure our aquifer is going to sustain all of us. So I'm taking matters into my own hands, and I'm putting in a rainwater cistern that will be able to hold 2,800 gallons of water that I'll be able to use for irrigation needs. Now, the system I'm designing is going to be a dual purpose system. So I will be able to use this for irrigation. I will also be able to use the well to fill this cistern if we don't have rain for a long time and the well is producing well and it's filled up my cistern already. I can then move that water into this cistern. So this cistern will be able to be filled from the rainwater that I catch from the roof and from the well if I choose to. I'll just have a manual valve of how I want that water to come in. Now, another feature I want is the option to run the rainwater through my water filtration system in my pump house for potable water. Now, I'm hoping that it doesn't get to that point, but as the climate is changing, we have less and less rain during the summer months on Vancouver Island where I am. It's like pretty much a Mediterranean climate in the summer. So we get tons of rain in winter, and then the summers are quite dry. So I do want to have that option if I have a bunch of people over and the gardens are needing lots of water. I want to make sure that we're also going to have water to drink. So I want that option. So I'm designing a resilient system for dual purposes. Yes, the main goal is to irrigate my gardens with this rainwater, but I also want the option to be able to have potable drinking water from it if needed. Now, some key features to consider if you are thinking of designing a rainwater system is how you're going to catch that water and how you're going to store it. So I have chosen to put a metal roof on my house because it is the safest material to be collecting water from. If you're going to be drinking potable water or even just using that water to water your garden, I don't want any chemicals in it from shingles. Like I want the cleanest possible water to be going into my garden and into my body. Like, why would you not? So I have chosen a metal roof for that reason, because it is in my area the best. Now, another thing is to consider is what you're storing your water in. So I have chosen a concrete cistern for both my well and for my rainwater system, even though concrete is more expensive and it has a pretty big carbon footprint because concrete is not that sustainable of a material. But my alternatives to concrete is plastic, and I hate plastic. The fact that we eat a credit card worth of plastic and there's a spoonful of plastic in our brains already of microplastics just like blows my mind that we're still allowed to use this material as carelessly as we do. And I really don't want to be storing water in plastic for those added microplastics into my water. Now, there's a lot of other things on my property that I'm going to be doing to help conserve water. I mulch really heavily in my garden. I am building up all that organic matter so that it I am absorbing water. I will be digging some swales in my property to help slow and sink and store water in the ground as well. But I don't want to rely just on those. I want to have as many diverse options for collecting and storing water as possible. So with my well, if my well ever goes dry, I have the rainwater here. I know I'm not going to regret putting this rainwater system in. If anything, I'm going to regret not going bigger. But the budget does not allow for bigger at this time. This is the biggest cistern that I could get. So to actually be able to handle all of my potable needs, if my well goes dry, I would need to double this system. So perhaps in the future I will need to, but hopefully with the well and with the rainwater, that I will be secure for the future. And yeah, I really think water is one of the number one things that we need to be concerned about for the future. I'm not really a prepper, but having a background in environmental sustainability, to me, it just makes complete sense to be collecting and storing rainwater, because I know I'm gonna need it. I know it'll be used. Mother Nature provides if we allow her to provide for us, and if we're not wasteful with the gifts that she's giving us. Yeah. Anyways, that's why I'm in this giant hole. And I will do a full video on the install and maintenance and everything required for this rainwater system. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that, because as soon as my building permits come, we're building this resilient home, and the rainwater system is key in that, as well as the hempcrete. I'm built out of hemp, which I will make a video soon about the benefits of hempcrete. And it's a passive solar house as well. So I am designing for nature to heat and cool my home. So you can check out that video here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.